Back at it again here with another video with Invest for Tomorrow. To all the first time viewers and investors, welcome to the channel. To all subscribers, welcome back. All I ask for in return is you to smash that like button so let me know you watch this video. Helps out the YouTube channel and lets me know you appreciate the time and effort I put into making these videos. So here we are looking at the S&P 500 index, and we're going to talk about if there's going to be a market crash or correction, because a lot of people are worried or concerned that we're hitting new all-time highs and we've pulled back from it. We're going to break it all down in this video, but before we do, I want to share with you guys the home run opportunity I mentioned on Friday morning, as well as the home runs of the week, because we have trading opportunities for all types of traders, whether you're a day trader, swing trader, or a long-term trader. And we're going to break it all down in this video, what's going on with the overall markets and the S&P and what 42 Vision is showing in the charts. So the opportunities I mentioned today all gave realistic expectations, except for one that turned out to be a home run, and that was FATBB after pulling back towards $21 and taking off towards 26, giving nearly a 20% plus move. And if you want to know early on what stocks we're watching every single morning to get in on early or be equipped and prepared for what is coming throughout the day through the volatility, join us. Check out the link down below in the description to the Discord, and by joining you'll become part of a growing community of investors all looking to learn and grow together. So I see a lot of comments down below because I usually do chart analysis with 42 Vision on what it is and how it really works. So here I have a 5-minute chart pulled up, and you could see the shifts throughout the chart, right? This right here is extreme weakness, and this is the area that I like to call the dip. And I'm watching for a transition, and when the transition happens, my goal is to be within that transition to maximize on the opportunity. And it went up from $36 all the way up to $39, nearly 10%. Just an example here on this chart. Now if you look at the chart here, how it's pulling back, these are green candlesticks with red borders. On a regular chart without 42 Vision, it would just be red candlesticks, and that right there could have alone shaken me out. And usually when it's still green, even though it has red borders, it is signifying there's still some strength for a possible leg up again, and that's exactly what happened. Now a shift into weakness happens right here. Dark green with red goes into red, but guess what? Once it levels off and a shift back up starts to happen, this is what I start watching closely, and you could see it happening, going back into strength, consolidated, and took off again to highs of $42 and some change. So if this is something that interests you and you want to become part of, you gain access to the Discord, weekly watch list, daily watch list, and the 42 Vision indicator, which allows me to focus in on the charts, remove the noise, remove the volatility, and maximize on opportunities. Check out the link down below, and by choosing the 42 Vision tier level, you will gain access to the 42 Vision indicator and everything I just stated. Let's go ahead and jump into these charts. I look forward to getting you guys set up and having you join us. So a lot of people are concerned because we're seeing all-time highs in the S&P 500 index, and the last time I talked about the S&P 500 index was way back here in this video that I posted September 19th, 2021. And this is the transition we started to see on the 1 day on the S&P 500 index. And I stated that we are in the beginning of a correction and we need to see if it turns into a crash. I don't see it turning into a crash, but the correction has started, and you could see with 42 Vision when the reversal will start. So if you want to gain access to better clarity in the charts and so forth, I've always stated it. Check out the link down below. You gain access to the Discord, the Patreon, which is the weekly watch list, and the 42 Vision indicator in the 42 Vision tier level. So this is where it was at in that video. It was these two green with red borders, the dark green with red border, and that one red candlestick. And that was the beginning of a transition, and you could see it there in the chart. Now, what happened on the next following days? Well, it continued going lower. It went into extreme weakness, and you could see that one time that it went into extreme weakness, it hit down here 43.05. It was not that far from the bottom. It jumped back up like a dead cat bounce, came back down and hit 42.78, and literally gave two great dip opportunities before the beginning of the reversal. And the beginning of the reversal had started right here, had a little bit of a pullback, and then this is the real strength that we've seen for the last several weeks, almost a month now, right? So what I want you guys to realize is 42 Vision let me know when I posted the video that we are in the beginning of a correction. I don't see a crash, and if it turned into a crash, it would go about down here at 3,700, maybe 3,800, and also 4,000. But what I was looking for were these candlesticks here, these levels of finding a bottom, and once the true reversal started, I was going to be ready to maximize on the opportunities. And a lot of stocks that fell 20%, 30%, even 50% have jumped back up in just a matter of weeks, 20%, 30%, and even upwards to 50%. So that's how powerful the 42 Vision indicator is. And I have also an upgrade coming soon that's called Ultimate 42 Vision, where it even brings an extra set of confirmation. Now, I made a video talking about the correction before this even popped up, and I don't usually wait for that signal or indicator to pop up, but it does give confirmation, and you could see the bear once it received that momentum of downward pressure, and then the bull once you can see the true levels being met to go upwards. And you can see it also here with 42 Vision. So these are all things you can gain access to by joining it. But let's talk about why everyone is worried or concerned that the whole entire stock market is at all-time highs and it could pull back. Now, I don't see a crash coming anytime soon, and I'm going to tell you guys my reasoning, my hypothesis, my opinion on why I don't see a crash, but we could see corrections. And a lot of people are getting concerned because when you put the 5-minute, we have already seen a correction, right? A small one of about like 2%, 1%, but it went from way up here at 4,700 all the way down to 4,600, right? And you could see there in the trading, right? When you go ahead and look at this microscopically, you could see the strengths and the dips, and it bounced back up, and we need to see if this can continue. A lot of people are concerned that it could get rejected up here at 4,700 again and come back down, because there's a lot of analysis price targets really capping this, right? The S&P 500 index at around 4,700, 4,800, and some are even saying 5,000 for next year. So a lot of people are concerned that like we're getting really close to those numbers. Are they going to have to upgrade, or is this going to actually fall to not meet those requirements, because those are price targets for next year? So there's one other thing too. The fact that things are so elevated and high, they're bound to have some cool off, right? So I don't see a crash, but I do see a small correction. I don't even see one as big as this one. This was nearly 10%. We could have a small correction of 2% to 5%. If it breaks through 5%, I would have to reanalyze the whole situation and the charts, and that's something I would encourage you to do as well as an individual investor. But these type of headlines are the ones that are scaring people. S&P 500 index sets 7th straight all-time high on Wall Street. S&P 500 index closes at another record for its 6th positive day in a row. And when you actually look at it here, I mean 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 bars, right, are showing extreme momentum here based off of 42 Vision. And what I'm going to be looking for is the same exact thing that I found last time with 42 Vision when we were starting to go into a correction, and it would be the shift in candlesticks and the transition of the beginning of a possible correction or small pullback, and see if it even gets into a larger one, because that's what I will be monitoring to be able to reassess and prepare myself. And I would encourage you as well as an investor to be prepared. And these are the key things I would be looking at, right? That shift from green with red borders to then dark green with red borders and the first red candlestick. That will be the first true full transition of weakness, and it is something I will be watching closely. But if not, if this is actually showing on the 1 day the continuation of green bars going upwards, there is still some strength, and we're far from a correction or a crash. But the higher we go, the more vigilant I'm going to be and the more cautious, because when you go into the 30-minute, you could see there's a lot more volatility, but things just continue with strength. And this was one of the most biggest dips back here on the 27th of October, and it just continued pushing higher. And way back here October 12th, and it just continues to push up higher, and we could see the strength in the charts. And yes, we have a red one right here, but look at the strength here still fighting. So we are not in a correction or crash, in my opinion. It could turn into a correction if there's further weakness, and that is what I'm going to be watching. But let me tell you guys why we're far from a crash, because a lot of people are posting about crash and crash and crash, and the stock market is going to take a lot more to crash, unless I'm missing something. I would love to see your thoughts down below. Once again, this is not financial advice. This is my opinions alone, but I like to share it, and I hope that it helps you guys have a new perspective and understanding of what's going on in the bigger picture and even in the micro when we zoom in to see what's going on. So I'm going to break it down with you guys. So why I believe we're far from a crash, and we could have small corrections here and there, but I think that momentum is going to be stronger than ever. And if there is corrections, they might even present opportunities. And one of the biggest things that could probably make the market shaky is not having renominated Jerome Powell as the Fed chairman. That is something to be aware of, but we're far from that renomination. That's until like almost January. But if there's talks or concerns, or they hype up the whole entire fear index of this, they could start making things pull back in November towards the end of it, or the beginning of December, when we don't even know yet if he's renominated or if he is, right? So that's one thing. That is a informal, indirect thing. But everyone's heard about Michael Burry, right? And he's known for The Big Short. And if you ever watch the movie, and if you ever watch how long he took to short finally and win on his bet, because he was betting against the housing market and mortgages and so forth, he was already preparing for this since 2005, 2007, and it didn't really happen until 2008, 2009. So I need you guys to think about that when he's doing these shorts and he's talking about these things, he is actually looking far out, okay? And that's what investing is. Investing is not looking at what's happening right now. Investing is actually being someone that was sitting down in 2020, for example, looking at the chart, and if they had 42 vision, they saw clear weakness. This was the dip, and said, okay, I'm gonna get in here because I think it could rise from here. And if you put the 1 week, you can see it even clearer that that was the biggest drop that we've seen in a while, and eventually it would come back up, and it's just been so strong since literally right here on July. The weakest was right here, 26th of October of 2020, and since then, with 42 vision, nothing has been able to stop the S&P 500 index. I mean, just look at it. And on this pullback, I was stating to everyone, this is not a setback, this is a setup for the next bull run. And every single time there is a setup like that, I'm looking for the weakness, the consolidation, and the confirmation to ride it back up. So it's all about setting up, having a clear chart. That's what 42 vision does for me, and catching the dip and riding the rip. Now, he is known for The Big Short, and obviously he is making a bet against bond prices, and if yields rise, bond prices go down, and any rate hike should give Burry a win for his bet, okay? And he's also talking about the greatest speculative bubble of all time in all things, okay? He's predicted the sharp rise in inflation. He's also been talking about how he's dissuaded, right, investors from buying gold or Bitcoin, saying governments would likely squash both assets. That's his opinions, but that is something that he is probably missed out on, some people would say, because he would be in it if he actually believed in it or caught it early, and he wants to see it pull back so he can get more. You know, there's all those types of theories, but he usually states what he thinks, and that's something I've always liked about him, that he actually comes out and he goes against whatever anybody is saying, and even if he's wrong, he tries, right? So any rate hike is going to help him. Rate hikes have not started, right? So we saw things going upwards. He was probably profiting here in that peak of October, and things are pulling back down. And if they're pulling back down, he's actually now losing in his bet. But he's probably betting far out until rate hikes happen. Once they do, the sector that's going to be affected the most by the 20-year and even the 10-year, as we see it pulling downwards, is growth stocks. So the run that we see right now in the S&P 500 index and overall growth stocks, right? Tesla, Nvidia, Apple's trying to fight to go higher, you know, all these different stocks, Salesforce, anything you think of growth and potential, they are pushing higher because of the yields going lower. And his bet is when rate hikes do go up, that we are going to see bond prices fall, making a huge catalyst to rates going higher and affecting the stock market. I think that's when we would see a possible correction or crash, and anything that we see as a pullback right now is just opportunities that I would call the dip, right? But so far we've been through all the hurdles, all the unknowns. The tapering has started and we're just going higher and higher. So if people are concerned that we're at all-time highs, that is like saying way back here, right? In 2019, when we were hitting right here, $3,016, that we're at all-time highs and we're going to crash. And the worst that happened was a little correction to 2,800 and it took off to 3,300. You know what I mean? Or even better said, when we passed 3,000 here and we went out of this whole little correction here and we were at 3,070, it's like saying we're going to crash or correct here. The uncertainty is high, and literally 2 months later, it went up $300 more. Okay? And that's exactly what we're experiencing here. And a lot of people, if they look at the RSI, yes. If you look at the MACD, yes. It looks overextended, but it is still pushing with so much strength. And the first thing I will be looking at here with 42 vision is if these candlesticks pop up. And if not, I will continue to watch microscopically as well what is going on with the 30-minute and the others like the 4 hours and the 1 hour. As always, guys, thank you guys so much for watching, and let's make some money.